In this video, I will show you how to invest in Australian stocks starting with $1,000 using SeflWealth. If you clicked on this video, then I'm guessing you're a beginner wanting to start your investment journey. And for that, I congratulate you for taking action and you've definitely come to the right place. I would encourage you to watch the entire video because it will be packed full of useful information, including a checklist of things to do before starting a brokerage account. I will then go through the steps to sign up for an account, and then I will show you how to buy your first stock. So if that sounds good to you, let's roll the intro. What is going on, my people? Hope you're having a good week. You know, when I was younger, I always thought investing was only for rich people. Terms like stock market and real estate were very intimidating to me. It's only later on that I found out this was definitely not the case, especially given that a lot of these rich people became rich from investing. Take Warren Buffett for example. He grew up in a modest family who were neither rich or poor, but he had a passion for investing from an early age and is now the face of stock market investing with a net worth of over $100 billion. You too can get started right now, like literally right now. You can start by setting up a brokerage account with SeflWealth while watching this video. However, before you do that, we need to cover two very important checklists. Number one, make sure you have no bad debt. Bad debt is any type of debt that does not improve your financial outcome. For example, credit card debt is the most popular type of bad debt. For the record, I think credit cards are good if you know how to use them properly. But if you are paying any sort of interest to your credit card, then you have bad debt and that is not good. The stock market will generally return about 7 to 10% on average over the long term if you invest in index funds. On the other hand, credit cards charge over 20% on average. That is just mind-blowing to me. Therefore, in this instance, you are better off paying down the credit card debt and receiving a guaranteed 20% return. Also, the psychological relief of not having bad debt cannot be understated. Other types of debt include car loans and personal loans. I would encourage you to stay away from them in general, but if you already have them, then please focus on paying them off before even starting to think about investing. Number two, make sure you have an emergency fund. Investing in the stock market is a long-term game, so the best practice is not to put any money in there that you need in the short term. You don't want to be forced into a scenario where you have to sell stocks during unfavorable market conditions because you urgently need the money. For this reason, always set up an emergency fund for that reason. An emergency. Unfortunately, a 2-week trip to Bali does not count as an emergency. This fund is for a very rainy day that cannot be predicted. For example, you or your partner suddenly lose your job. The emergency fund should cover all your expenses for several months to give you time to get back on your feet. I would recommend at least 3 months worth of expenses, but 6 months is the most ideal. And please don't think this won't happen to you. The last 18 months has shown us how quickly our lives can be flipped upside down. So please, save up for an emergency fund before you start investing. Alright, so if you have no bad debt and you've already saved up for an emergency fund, then you are ready to buy your first stock. In order to do this, you will need to sign up for an online brokerage account. There are many online brokers in Australia to choose from, and I'll do a future video comparing them all. But today, we'll be using SeflWealth, which incidentally is my favorite broker in Australia. This is the broker that I use because they meet the two requirements I look for in a broker: security and low brokerage fees. And I'll elaborate more on these later in the video. Now, let's create our SeflWealth account. By the way, if you'd like 5 free trades, then use the link I put down below to sign up for SeflWealth. Of course, you don't have to use my link. If you have a friend that already uses SeflWealth, ask them to send you a referral code and you'll both get 5 free trades. One trade is worth $9.50, so that is a decent sign-up bonus. So for the next part, I'll switch to a voiceover so you can see the exact steps on how to create your SeflWealth account. Alrighty, so if you used my referral link or your friend's referral link, it will take you to this page. Make sure you can see the 5 free trades so you're locking in that bonus. So you just type in your email and a password and they will send a verification email. So just open your email and click the link they provided. It will take you back to this page, and just like any other application forms, you just enter your details. Once you are done, it will take you to this page to get your driver's license, tax file number and bank account ready for the next step. Once you click start application, it should take you to a screen like this. Now you need to enter your application type. For most people, it will be individual, meaning any stocks you buy will be 100% owned by you, and therefore you are also responsible for any taxes in the future. If you choose joint, then you and your partner will both own 50% of all stocks and will be liable for 50% for all future taxes. I don't think the other options are applicable to most of us, so I'll go ahead and select individual. In the next page, you confirm a few more details including your date of birth. Once you've filled in the details and click next, it will create your application page and you'll be redirected to this page. You will have to continue providing all the details they ask for, including your tax file number, address, and bank account details. You won't need my help with the next parts as they're pretty self-explanatory. So just keep following the steps until you get to the final page and click submit. Once you are done, SeflWealth will take 2 business days to approve your application. So you just have to wait. Once you have been approved, you'll be provided with a HIN, which stands for Holder Identification Number. Remember earlier I mentioned security was one of the factors in choosing a broker? Well, a Holder Identification Number is a unique number that identifies you as a CHESS-sponsored shareholder with a broker. CHESS-sponsored means you own the shares outright and there's no custodial ownership between yourself and the broker. In a worst case scenario where SeflWealth went bankrupt, you would not lose your shares as they are registered under your name. Not all brokers provide this. Some offer cheaper brokerage fees but no CHESS sponsor. Personally, I'm willing to pay extra for the extra security. A HIN usually starts with a letter X followed by 10 numbers. All your CHESS sponsored shares are represented by a single HIN, provided they are under the same brokerage account. For example, if you bought NAB, calls, and Afterpay using SeflWealth, they are all automatically consolidated under the same number. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can have more than one HIN number under your name. If you have multiple brokerage accounts, they will each provide a unique HIN. So now your brokerage account has been approved and you're ready to buy your first stock. Congratulations. First thing to note is that ASX is only open at certain times. It is open from 10 AM to 4 PM Eastern Standard Times, Monday to Friday. I'll put the local open and close time on the screen for every capital city of each state in Australia. By the way, I am curious to know what kind of stocks you guys are interested in buying. So leave a comment down below on the stocks that you are interested in and I'll give you my opinion on them. You also need to fund your account before you can invest. Back in the days, it would take at least 1 business day for the funds to transfer, and that was my biggest complaint with SeflWealth. But luckily for you, at the time of recording this video, SeflWealth have introduced an instant transfer feature that should take seconds for funds to clear. So that is a great new feature. Now that you have money in your account, I will show you how to buy your first stock. In this example, we will use VAS, which is an ETF that tracks the top 300 companies on the Australian Stock Exchange. So you type in VAS in this stock search bar and it will bring you to this page. Don't be intimidated by all the boxes and numbers. It's actually very simple once you know what everything is. Bid is what the buyers are willing to buy this stock for. Offer is what the sellers are willing to sell this stock for. Open is what the stock's opening price was at market open. Low is what the lowest price of the day was. High is what the highest price of the day was. The volume is the number of shares traded in the day. And the close is what the stock price finished at. It's all quite self-explanatory. So now we will click buy. And it will take us to this page. You can either buy the shares in quantity or value. Quantity is the number of shares. So if I put 11 units and choose market then limit, it will buy 11 shares at about $1,085 plus $9.50 brokerage. Market then limit means the best current market price will be used to buy the shares. In this case, it will be about $98.65 per share, meaning you'll likely pay a little bit extra than the current listed price. Then you click review order and confirm, and that order should go through if the market was open. Since this is just a demonstration, the market isn't open right now and the order won't go through. You can also choose to buy by value. So say you want to buy $1,000 worth of VAS, you can enter the amount and choose market then limit, and since you can't buy fractional shares with SeflWealth, it will automatically select 10 shares at $986.50 in total plus brokerage. So basically it just calculates the closest amount of units you can buy for how much you have. If you want to save a bit of money, you can choose a limit which gives you the ability to put the price you would like to pay. Say you put $95 per share, you can see the total will be $1,045 plus brokerage. You can then set the expiry date up to 6 months and the order will remain there until the share price drops to $95. The problem is, it may never drop to that price. So what I'd like to do is put a limit order for the offer price. In this case, it would be $96.25 per share. And if the market was open, this order should go through straight away at this price. This is the method I would recommend for most, as you are not at the mercy of small market fluctuations and you can guarantee the order will go through. And that's about it. Once your trade goes through, SeflWealth will send you an email confirming your trade and ownership to your new shares. One last thing to note is SeflWealth charges a flat $9.50 brokerage per trade no matter the size of the order. This is very good value compared to all the other brokers. This combined with CHESS sponsorship that I previously mentioned is the reason SeflWealth is my go-to Aussie broker. So there you have it. Congratulations guys, you've learned how to make your first investment in shares. If you're a beginner to shares, then the hardest part is getting started. It may seem daunting at first, but trust me, after you buy your first shares and see it grow over time, you will start to develop good financial habits and will be motivated to grow your portfolio. I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, please give it a like so I can reach more viewers. And please consider subscribing to this channel as I'll release a lot more videos like this in the future. So until next time, my name is Brian and I hope you make a lot of money.